Green Eagles. Tell me how you felt when you got that information that you were going to be the captain of the Green Eagles. It's the dream of every player.
Yeah. You know, those days is the coach that looks at his players and know who has the command and everything to make a captain. And before my captainship, Dominic Ezani was the captain. So when Dominic left to United States, that's when Dan Ayam brought me in as the captain.
Dan was the coach at that time?
Yeah. It was a difficult task, but I said, well, it's a responsibility, you know, so I took it over. So if Dom hasn't traveled, he will remain the captain.
So was it like, oh, here I am, I just realized every footballer's dream? Mm-hmm. Was it the way you felt?
Yeah, and you know, it was my first call to the national team.
The very first call?
First call, 74.
And you became captain?
Yeah, because Ezani left to the United States, who was the captain then. You know, and then Ayam looked at everybody and gave me the captain. He knows the reason why he did that.
You don't want to hazard a guess why he did that?
Well, maybe the guess was that I was so, you know, I was so close to all the players. You know, they know me very well, I know them, and they have respect for me, and I have respect for them. And they feel I can represent them very well too.
You also captained the Green Eagles to win the Nations Cup.
Of course.
How did you feel?
Well,
that this happened under your captainship?
Yeah, I feel very, 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 very happy. You know that winning the Nations Cup was not easy. We started in that 1994, 74. You know, I was the captain 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. See how many years we were together. So we become a solid
gunning
team.
for that laurel.
Our first Nations Cup was in Ethiopia, when we went there and came back with a bronze medal. Our second Nations Cup was in Ghana. We went there too. We came back with bronze medal. And the third one was in Nigeria, where we are hosting. We said no. We can even play without a coach, because we are together by then. We are like a family, brothers and so on. And God willing, being on our side, we fulfilled our promise to Nigerians and we won the cup. There, may his soul rest in peace, let President Shadari honor us very, very well.
Anyway, we are going to come back to all this because, because you know, I'd like to pick what you already said. It was not easy.
At all.
So we're going to come to the journey, what happened in 74, what happened in 78, I guess, and all that. But let's take this story back to where I started. You're from ENUGU State.
Of course.
And you were born just a few days in January in
1951.
In 1951.
Yeah.
I mean, what a beautiful year for your parents that would have been. I mean, you just started the year and you had this son. You know, so let's start from there. What was it like? Were you born, I mean, were your parents in Enugu State at that time? It wasn't, of course, it wasn't Enugu State then, it was the Eastern region and all that. Were they in the East when you were born? Were you born in the eastern part of Nigeria?
Of course. I'm from Kanu local government, Enugu State, yeah?
Yeah.
So I was born in Kokam.
Our own Kokam.
Our own Kokam. So from our own Kokam, my parents came to Owani. My father had a plot there. We moved over to Owani. Before from Owani, we moved over to Kenyatta. 1 extension. You know,
But
people may
as it
not
was
know all
then,
these names.
yes.
And by then, I started my primary school in Christchurch.
You know, one there.
Yeah. So in actual fact, that's where my football started.
In Christchurch?
Yes, 1. But my parents were not in support of that. Those days now, yeah, you play football, I say you're a vagabond. You're a comedian. People came to your father's place and made them happy. Say, look at what honey is, and so on. You know, it's not that people are seeing it as a good thing. So in Christchurch, I played in Christchurch School. I played in junior. That time for you to play in junior, your hand must reach your ear, and so on. From there, I played in the senior team of the Christchurch.
The primary school?
Yeah. From the Christchurch, then I went to National Grammar School, Nika. You know, I went there, I played there, captained them, and from there, I played to all these local clubs, Olympic Football Club, if you know ENUGU well by then, and so on.
Olympic, that had to do with the man that owned the Olympic Hotel then?
Of course, Chukwuma, you know. So from there, I played for Highlanders of ENUGU. Highlanders is owned by Ministry of Lands.
Then,
and Survey. I was still in school. And from Highlanders, I was selected in the East Central State Academicals.
We'll pause it there because I think we are going too fast. Let's go back, you know, to Christchurch, where you started your career. Was there something the school did in a special way to groom those of you that were young then to actually be interested in football?
There was no particular thing. We have the game masters. Those days we have game masters that were interested in sports. And when we came to play, they look at you and they make their selections. You know, and from there you started playing. Even after that, when I come back from school, my mother will give me some plantain or these things to sell. Those days we help our mother and father. And I will carry my own and put it one side and start playing football.
I thought as much. I thought as much. Because
at times after playing football, I come, I will not see my destiny again.
You will not see your plantain?
The plantain again. What will I tell my mother and my parents? So when I come back, I have to stay at the corner of the house till it gets dark for me to enter inside the house. What will I tell them? But when I come in, I told them what happened, and my father will flog hell out of me. You know?
You know, because that was what a lot of children did even then.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm imagining that even then, there were no boots.
No.
There was no socks.
No.
You guys just, probably there was no ball. It could be an orange. Was that the kind of, you know, environment that you were exposed to at that time?
Yeah, it's the kind of environment we were exposed to. But because of interest I have in football and everything, my parents cannot stop me.
No matter how much they flogged you?
Because I was stubborn and I love football, you know. So that is how it started.
Would it be right to say that even then, you knew what you wanted in life? You knew that this was your star, this was your talent. Did you know then, or you were just being a child?
I knew then, but I didn't know it would be money spinning like this nowadays. It's just for pleasure. We use it for pleasure. We are not playing for money. We are not playing for anything. After the game, maybe the head of the place or everything will buy glucose. You put in there, you lick orange and so on. That's what you get, and you are happy. You know, you are part of the team.
You were playing for Highlanders in ENUGU.
Yeah.
A team that was owned by the Ministry of Lands, which even brings something out. That even then, so many individuals and organizations were interested in growing football. Because you talked about the Olympics, which was owned by Chukwuma, who owned the Olympic Hotel in Enugu then.
Yeah.
And one is wondering why you don't see such interest anymore in the football, especially in the Southeast. Not many individuals want to invest in football in the Southeast.
Well, it's because of interest. Most of them don't have the interest. Those that are
even now that it's money
those that
spinning,
are having the interest and now money spinning are trying their best. They are trying their best, but it's very expensive
to run
a
football club.
It's very, very expensive to run a football club. You know, so you have to buy a bus, you have to buy this, you have to buy balls, you have to buy boots, you have to kit the teams, you have to camp them, and so on and so forth. So many of them don't have that kind of money. And those that have that kind of money don't have that kind of chance and interest. But gradually it's coming up.
Okay, let's go back to Highlanders. So you were playing for Highlanders. So at what point did you leave Highlanders? How did you end up at Rangers, which was the #1 at that time?
Yeah, well, I left Highlanders after my school days.
Secondary school.
Secondary school. And from there, I was invited on East Central State Academic House. And we went to Lagos, East Central Academy. They said, we are just from war. We don't know how to play.
You were just from war?
From the war, you know, Biafra war. We were just coming out of the war. And the Igbos were not regarded in football-wise and so on because we were fighting war. And from there, we won the Academicals.
Oh, the team that came from East Central State?
Yeah, we beat the Kwara Academicals 2-0 in the finals and so on. So on that day, the Igbo people in Lagos went wild. That is what started giving Igbo people the courage, the power to come up. As we were leaving the stadium, you can see the Igbo people singing Eimba, and any car that blocks our bus, they do a shobe and put the car out of the way and so on. You know?
That must have been very, very exciting.
So during that time too, the Rangers won the Amakri Cup, which is National League now.
Oh, that same year?
That same year.
That your school team won the Academicals?
Yeah. They won the Amakri Cup the same year. So the two teams, we have to come back. They organize a friendly match.
Between the Academicals and Rangers?
Rangers as the champions. You know? And there, after the match, only 3 of us, myself, Ezani, and Obueze, Rangers. The rest of us went to Vasco da Gama. That will tell you why Vasco was a very formidable side by then. You know? So that's how it started. You know?
So you started playing for Rangers?
Yeah.
And at that time, Rangers, like you said, was a very formidable team in Nigeria.
Of course.
As a little boy, I don't know whether it was, whether 73 or 75. There was a match that Rangers played that even as a young little boy, I can't ever forget because it was celebrated all over. Rangers Mahala of Egypt match. Were you in Rangers at that time?
I was the captain.
Of Rangers?
Yes.
Tell me about it, because as a little boy, it was the #1 story.
When we were drafted into Rangers, not quite long ago, Achebe retired and became our coach. Luke Okpara retired. Ezani played briefly and went on. You know those people that came from Lagos that formed Rangers? You know, Will Amosu, NSU Fele, name them, that formed the Rangers. Okoseme,
yes,
you know, and so on and so forth. that formed the Rangers. So we started replacing them gradually.
As they were retiring.
As they were retiring. We started replacing them gradually, And by then, for you to enter Rangers, you must come from school, academicals, and so on. And not now that anybody can come and they say they are going to bring him, and so Rangers have their procedure.
And tradition.
Tradition of promoting team. So that's how we came in, all of us.
So you were captain?
Yeah.
When you played Mahela.
Yeah.
Which year was that?
We played Mahela in 76 or so, We went to Mahela and we lost.
I think it was 3-0.
Yeah, and we came here, we said, Mahela, we see Wahala, because by then we are not used to cold weather, Egypt and all this.
Oh, so it was cold when you played there.
So when they came to our own, we brought them in the sun by 2 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
Yeah, that's when the match started. And luckily for us, that was a fantastic team. But we were lucky and determined, and we were able to eliminate them from the tournament.
I remember but then, Rangers of those days, you had two arch, I don't want to call them enemies, but opponents. One was in your back door, Vasco da Gama, and the other was somewhere in the southwest, IICC of Ibadan. Tell me about those encounters. Why was it so difficult for Rangers to win almost everybody in Nigeria, and it was always a tough match playing Vasco da Gama?
Those days, we are not opportune to change clubs, travel, because we were employees of the Sports Council.
Okay, for you to play for Rangers, you had to be an employee of the Sports Council.
They will give you a job, not that you have to play. If you decide not to take the job, it's left for you. But most of the teams by then don't move about. It's not only IICC, but then Insurance have a very good team then. Kano Pillars, you name them, stationery stores.
Yes.
All those clubs, we have formidable clubs then because the players don't move about. Like nowadays, I'm playing for Rangers and another club can come and offer me better condition. Then I leave. Those days there were no such things. And that's why we have formidable teams. Secondly, the two clubs, Rangers and IICC, have a strong chairman. Lekon Salami is a fantastic chairman, football fanatics, and he's the chairman of IICC. Jim Mobodo is the chairman of Rangers, and he's a fantastic person too, So these two big wigs are always competing, not only the players and so on. And Vasco da Gama have a good administrator, Ogufere. Ogufere started Vasco da Gama, and they have a good team. That's why he took about 18 of us, to their team, and so on. So teams were very strong by then. But immediately we finish match, we beat Vasco da Gama, we know we are going far.
Did they ever beat Rangers? Did Vasco ever beat Rangers?
Well, I couldn't remember to my knowledge.
But it was always a tough
game, because they have Patrick Ekeji, Osaka. All those are colleagues.
That knew even how you guys played?
Yeah, in the academicals. Umero was the goalkeeper. We was our goalkeeper in the academicals. A lot of them, we are playing for Vasco da Gama. And Vasco was a very formidable side by then.
How did your team, even then, because there was something you said about when the Academicals won in Lagos and the new pride it gave to the Igbos who were just coming back from war. When you played for Rangers then, because Rangers became like a rallying point for the Igbo people, did you see yourself as an ambassador? You and your colleagues, when you played for Rangers, did you see yourself as ambassadors of the Igbo people that, look, we have to win?
Well, that is our motivation. We don't want to disappoint Igbo people. Because if you go to IICC, it's all Yoruba. You go to Vendel Insurance, it's all Benin. You go to stationery stores, it's all Lagosians and so on. So everybody has people they are representing. So we don't want to disappoint our people, the Igbo people, you know. And that is what is part of our motivation. You know, then there was no money, there was nothing, you know. It's for you to make sure that you represent your people very well. And they reciprocate. Because after that, when you come out in the streets, you are being held. You go to market, they dash you meat, they dash you everything. Ah, Christian Chiku. Ah, Benyan, no problem. But, you know, and so that is our benefits those days.
Not the money.
And we are proud of it. There was no money, nothing. And when we win any tournament, the Sports Council gives us promotion. Oh. That's another promotion, another motivation. We get promotion, we go to the level of level 8, they give you a car, you know, then, and so on. So that's kind of motivations we have, you know. And Jerry Yazo was our director of sports by then.
So how would you compare those that led sports then and those that lead sports now? What, is there anything missing?
Commitment. Commitment. Those that were then when we are playing are very, very much committed to the game. I don't know about those now, because there's money in it, everything. Everybody wants to be this. Even a lawyer will leave his profession. He wants to be chairman of NFF. A doctor leaves his profession. You know, those days you don't have such things. You know, that's the difference.
Commitment.
Commitment.
Let's look at your days in Rangers. When you look back, which match can you tell me was the most challenging for you in Rangers? I know there were so many.
So many of them, but the one that got us angry.
That's for the club championship, African Club Championship.
We went to Guinea and played. And when we come to Nigeria, instead of them allowing us to play it at ENUGU, we were forced to play it in Lagos. And we were in ENUGU preparing.
Who forced you to play in Lagos?
The National Sports Commission. So we have to enter, we struggle to enter flight that day in the morning to be in Lagos, to settle down and play the match. And we lost that match to Hafi of Guinea, which would have been the first African Nations of Cup we would have won.
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria.
Do you think there was sabotage?
Well, I believe it's sabotage because those days it was home and away. When you go away and come back, you play at your home, and our home is ENUGU. No matter we are Nigerians, it's all the same thing. But they forced us to play in Lagos. It's just the same thing like when we played IICC, Tracy now. We played them in Lagos, they choose Lagos as their home. We played them there. On the second leg, we're supposed to play in ENUGU. And they said no. They brought in politics that ICC did not play at their home. My home is
In
Ibadan.
Ibadan.
But they choose Lagos. It's not we that choose Lagos. So it became a big controversy. And the Yeredua, the then head of state, have to decide that we move to Kaduna. That's how we moved the match to Kaduna. And luckily for us, when we got to Kaduna, the match ended in a penalty, which we won.
So even then, there was a lot of politics in football.
Of course. Of course.
So how about matches that were tough because of the opponents you were playing that was not politics? Do you remember any?
I believe all the matches were tough, especially African competitions. You know, I could remember we went to play Police of Senegal, in Senegal, and they gave us beating of our life. And Obasanjo had to send a flight to us to come back that day, that night.
You won that match?
Yeah.
And the people got the Sierra Leoneans.
Because it's second leg. They came here and got a draw. And they believe they have won. So when we went there, we said, we beat them. And they beat hell out of us. And Obasanjo had to send us a flight to come back that night.
I'm not laughing really, but you mean like they descended on the players?
Straight ahead, everybody. You know? So
Obasanjo sent a flight that night?
We came back that night. We went straight to our hotel, packed our luggages and so on. The flight was waiting for us at the airport. We have to fly back before we are killed. You don't know what they will do next minute.
This must be the dangers of playing football.
Yeah, a lot of
Was it
dangers.
something that worried those of you then? Because it's not like today that there's so much security.
We were surprised that the people that did this was Police of Senegal, who would have given you protections and everything. And when Police of Senegal did that kind of a thing, why are you sleeping? You don't know what will happen in the night. It pained them a lot. They never believed it.
But that's football.
But that's football.
That's football.
Yeah.
So you were captain for Rangers for several years.
Yeah.
How did you end up in the Green Eagles? Super Eagles as we know it today.
Yeah, in the Super Eagles, I ended up after the Nations Cup in 1980 when we won the cup.
No, how did you get into Green Eagles? At what point were you invited into the team?
Yeah, I was invited in 1974. That was
the same year you joined Rangers?
No, Rangers was 72.
Okay.
I joined the national team, Green Eagles. And by then, Achebedem, all these old players have gone. Ezani became the captain. And not quite a long time in that 74, Ezani traveled to the United States. And I was made the captain. So I was in the Green Eagles stroke Super Eagles till 1980, from 74. And the name was changed after we won the cup in 1980 to Super Eagles. We were all along Green Eagles.
Tell me about the struggle. I mean, 80, like you told me earlier, was not the first time. You had made an attempt in
76, attempt in Ethiopia.
What went wrong there?
We came back with bronze medal.
What happened? Why couldn't you leave the cup?
It was a game other countries were preparing. You don't underrate other countries. We have good teams, good countries that we are preparing. You know.
So you lost in Ethiopia?
We lost in Ethiopia, but we came back with bronze. We won the third position.
Okay.
You know.
Then you went back in
76.
You went back to in
78. We went to Ghana. And the same thing happened to us. We lost in the semi-final. then played in the third position and won the bronze. Then in 1980, we won the cup.
Tell me about the journey. Tell me about how it was possible. You were captain, so you knew.
It was not easy. All of them were not easy. They were very hard journeys. But luckily for us, we were building ourselves. We were knowing ourselves, understanding ourselves very, very well. You know, at a stage, we became brothers and everything. At a stage, I can close eye and pass the ball to Shego Debame without knowing where he is, and he will get the ball, you know. So we became one unit. Even without coach, we can even play a match. We have a solid team. And that led us to winning the cup in 1980.
You know, one thing I'm learning from the story you're telling is that in those days, it didn't matter how many Igbos were in Green Eagles or how many Yorubas were in Green Eagles. Because just telling me, from what you're telling me, an Igbo man was captain, Ezra, and he became captain, and then you became captain. And it was not such an issue.
No. Then there was nothing like Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, anything. No. We are just one. The coaches were selecting people they feel that can give them results. And nobody queries them, you know. And you know, once you are winning, Nigeria don't know where you come from.
You're correct.
Everybody is giving you the support, the outside, the Yoruba, everybody. So far, you are doing well. Nobody wants to know where you come from. It's Nigeria, you know. So there was no such thing by then. And of course, the most big teams by then was Rangers and IICs.
And it was healthy competition. I remember the match in ENUGU that was played at the temporary stadium. Yeah. It was always a fight.
Yeah, yeah. You know, by then the fence of the temporary stadium was zinc, and everybody was struggling, and a
lot of people got wounded
and everything.
But that was how important those matches were.
Yeah.
Chairman, why are Nigerians not supporting local teams like they did when you were playing? What is the problem?
Well, I think the problem is that the English football came out, the television came out.
Cable came out.
Cable came out, and so on. When we are playing, no such, the television then was black and white. How can you get Europe and get all these things, and everybody was, you know, coming. You can see last match Rangers played on Sunday. It's because the English League have ended.
The stadium was filled up.
The stadium was filled up. If not, if the English League was still on, you see people going in the bar to watch Arsenal or Chelsea or this or that, you know. So it's part of our problem.
But you've been in this business, Chairman, for a long time. You've been a player, you've been a coach, you've been this and that. What can we do to promote our local football? What should we do? Yes, we know there is the English Premiership, the European Premiership, and all that. What would you suggest we do so that we can have a robust, you know, local football in Nigeria that will not only bring money for the sponsors, it will bring money for the footballers or whoever is interested? What do you think we should do?
Number one, we should get people who are interested to run the football. It's not everybody that can run the game of football. And number two, in Nigeria, let me not say Africa, there's no money in football. So you see all our players moving out. Some are going even in the Benin Republic to get a higher pay. Some are going to Europe, and everybody, all our players are moving out. So there's no motivation, no incentive. The money was not there. You play a match finish, there's no match bonus, no allowance, and so on. So this discourages the teams. You know, in those days, when we are playing, before you come to the stadium, you know the 11 that will start the match
You know the
for
11?
Rangers.
Yes.
But nowadays, you cannot see people will come to the stadium and say, oh, which side is Rangers, and which side is this, and which side is that.
They are not
They
interested.
are not interested because they know the player today. Tomorrow they say the player is out, and so on. So a lot of motivation have to come inside it. No sponsors, you know, and so on and so forth. A lot to be done. And
Okay, Chairman.
football will come back.
Let's go back to 1980. You led the Green Eagles that became the Super Eagles to win that coveted trophy for Nigeria. So what happened after that?
As I said, after that, we have to give thanks to Shagari. May he so rest in peace. You know, Shagari awarded us with buildings in First Stack.
In Lagos.
We got cars. We got money. We were taking around Lagos. And that was the first time I rode a horse in Lagos.
In celebration of your victory.
Of victory. So, in short, Shagari rewarded us very well, more than well. And that is why the football is promoted to the level it is now. You know, otherwise in those days, they don't take us as nothing. And we are playing it for the interest. That's the difference. People playing now are playing for money. Our only was interest. There was no money, no nothing. It was after that 1980, we got this gift and everything, that people started
Taking it seriously.
Taking it serious, you know, and so on and so forth.
Tell me how you felt when all this was happening. You were celebrated everywhere, in Lagos, in ENUGU, on the streets.
Well, we never believed it.
Were you walking in the air?
We never believed it. We're just playing that we want to satisfy our country, our people, and we make them happy and everything. And in response, they made us happy too.
Mm-hmm.
So it was that time we knew what we did. We don't even know what we did when we won the cup. It was when the showering was coming in.
From everywhere?
Everywhere. We said, so this is a big thing. And we thank God for it.
Let me ask you a question. Was your father alive in 1980?
Of course.
Tell me, what happened? Because he was the same man that wouldn't let you play football.
Yeah, my father and my mother considered when I entered the Rangers.
As they say today, they became loyal.
They wanted their son to be a doctor, mama doctor, pardon, a lawyer, you know, something, you know. But when I entered the Rangers, they started hearing their son's name. And when they were passing, I said, you know this woman? Mama Christian Chuku. They say, hey, I am Mom Christian Chuku. The same thing with father. That is why when they surrendered, you know, and started giving me prayers and encouragement.
And respect.
And respect.
Because,
you know,
because they
wanted me to be one of the doctors, lawyers. That was what is reigning by then. And my mother wanted to answer one of the names.
When you won the cup in 80, did your parents come to you and say, oh, thank God we didn't stop you?
They were so happy, you know, so pleased, and even they reigned more than me.
Oh, They enjoy the fame.
They try the fame. But me, because anywhere they are going, they are being recognized easily than somebody who has a doctor and a lawyer. You know, those days.
It looks like I'm missing something.
Yeah.
At what point in this your journey did you think like, oh, come, I need to settle down. I need a wife?
That was after the Nations Cup.
It was going to be a big challenge for you because every woman wanted you. So how did you navigate?
My mom intervened. It was even
She
my
knew you were.
mom.
She knew you were in trouble.
You see, it was even my mom that made me to marry.
Oh.
Because I was not ready.
You were
You
enjoying.
know, those days, the parents will get a wife for you, whether you like it or not.
No, but in your case, I knew.
But I had so many girls.
I know.
I had so many girls, girlfriends and so on.
They wanted to be
But
girlfriend
when I
to
came back,
Christian Chukwu.
my mom said, I'll find a wife for you. This is the person you are going to marry. And we respect our parents those days. We obeyed them. You know, I said, okay, to make you happy, no problem. You have to make your parents happy.
So there was or there is no doubt that even when you got married, especially after the Nations Cup, you were still a very busy man. Of course, your career even got you busier than ever. How did you juggle your career in football and your family life?
Yeah, I was very, very lucky. The person my mother chose for me that she brought, you know, was very understanding. I married after 1980, and we wedded in 1981, and we had our first child in 1983. So she too understands my movement, my profession, you know. So she was coping, you know, to my movements, you know, because after the 1980, 81, I coached Rangers briefly, you know, before going to coach the first under-17 that won the cup for Nigeria with Sebastian Broderick, you know. So from there, I was drafted to the national team. But from national team, I went to Kenya, become the Kenyan national team. I'm
Coach.
from Kenya, yeah. I'm from Kenya. When I came back, I went to Lebanon
As a coach too?
as a coach too. You know, it was in Lebanon that I was told to come back and handle the national team again. But before I could come back, they said they have given Shaibu the job. I said, okay, no problem. It's all the same, but you wouldn't have told me to come back when I was comfortable in Lebanon.
No, so the commission or the NFA reached out to you in Lebanon where you were coaching a team.
Yeah.
And asked you to come back to Nigeria and coach the national team.
Yeah.
Only for you to get here. And they told you they'd given the job to Shuaibu.
Yeah.
So
So
what happened? Why?
So from there we said, okay, no problem. It's a colleague, it's everything. So there was this one man called Noel, who is a Nike man. He brought Nike to Nigeria.
The sportswear company.
Yeah, Noel. Then he found me a job in Kenya. So I went back to Kenya as a Kenyan national team.
Okay. So you went to Kenya twice?
No, once. I went to Lebanon first.
Okay.
It was Lebanon that I went first. When this thing happened, I came back. He said, no. He found me a job in Kenya.
As their national team coach?
That's how I went to Kenya.
Tell me about Kenya and your career in Kenya.
Yeah, when I went to Kenya, I found out that Kenya was so backwards.
In football?
Yeah, I went to Kenya. I have to build junior teams for them because I have coached under 17 in Nigeria. I built under 20 for them, and so on. So they were enjoying it, and the senior team. So when I went there, those East African Nations Cup and they are playing and so on, Kenya was dominating, doing very well, which they have not done before, So they enjoyed my stay in Kenya, and they never want me to go.
So at what point did they now ask you to come back to the Super Eagles to coach?
I told you when they called me from Lebanon. Kenya, my contract expired. And I said, no, I'm going home. So when I came back home, then they called me to Super Eagles with Clemens Westerhoff.
Okay.
So I worked with Clemens Westerhoff, and from there we went to World Cup, we won Nations Cup, and from there we dispersed again.
What a journey.
Yeah, so that's how it was.
You played football, wonderful career, a lot of successes here and there. Do you have a regret that you didn't play football when it became gold? Do you sometimes sit back and say, oh, if it were now, maybe I'll be a billionaire? Does it occur to you sometimes?
Yeah, it occurs to me, if it were now, I will invite Vin Euro to London to come and do me this interview. Because but I was not regretting anyway.
Yeah.
I was not regretting because I got everything I deserved because I was not playing it for money then.
Yeah.
It's for fame, posterity, and so on. When I look back now, I'm happy that I built the football.
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria. I built it to where it is now, for people to start recognizing that football is a big business, and so on. So that's my pride. Whenever you want to talk about the progress of football in Nigeria, well, we will not forget Chairman Christian Chukwu.
Do you think that our country, Nigeria, has paid enough attention to footballers like you who made Nigeria proud in your retirement? Do you think Nigeria has taken good care of you and your colleagues?
Well, that's a problem in Nigeria. Other countries are trying to build their footballers. You see in Cameroon, Eto'o is the chairman. You see Ivory Coast, Drogba. You see, they are starting to recognize footballers, But in Nigeria, we don't recognize footballers. People running our football, there's none of them played football. None of them knows what they are talking.
They're businessmen.
They're businessmen. They come. Otherwise, people like Kanu Nwankwo Okocha them, and all these people should not be lying low while football matters are being taken. You leave the job for the footballers to run. And you see the change. It's affecting everything we are doing.
A lot of you worked. For instance, you told me that as a Rangers player, you were a staff of the Sports Council. Do you get your pensions regularly, even now?
Well, this is the state government problem. I'm a pensioner, but anytime they pay, I get my own.
When they pay?
When they pay.
Don't you think that for men like you, who have done so much, in their prime for this country, that maybe there should be a special package different from just you getting your pension? Is it something you think about sometimes?
Well, I think if Martin is governor tomorrow, I will get all my entitlements and more, because when I come and say, Your Excellency, say, Chairman Chukwu, what are you doing now? I say, I'm sick, oh. I don't have anything, oh. You know. Like when I was sick, the person that took care of me, so Tedola, you cannot imagine that. A Yoruba guy. Tedola, who was a small boy, his father was the governor of Lagos State by then, you know, and he was enjoying my game and everything. So when I became sick, he was the one that took me to London and made me to survive today.
But we also heard that the state government had helped.
They have helped. Help comes in different ways.
But if it wasn't for Tedola?
There was no time the state government wants to take me abroad. Help is that if you enter hospital here in Nigeria, maybe they shall offset your bill. But this singular man said no. Hey, prepare him, let him come over. And that's how
Had you known him before then?
Is the father I know, who was the governor of Lagos State when we were playing. You see? And without him today, I don't know. It's only God knows.
Whether he'll be alive today.
Whether I'll be alive.
So are you saying that even now that you're managing your health, that the state government is not reaching out to you?
No. The only state government that is reaching out to us is Anambra. Anambra from P2B was giving us 2 pence to take care of ourselves. P2B started with 10,000 naira. Then this person came in, Obiano came in, and increased it to 15.
15,000 naira. A month?
A month. And now Soludo came in. I said, no, 50,000 will not do anything for you. And increase it to 100,000 every month. You can imagine.
And your state in Enugu does not pay you anything?
Nothing. Oh.
Chairman, wonderful journey, wonderful career, wonderful life, and of course, the greatest one, getting ill and getting well by somebody's magnanimity. What are your regrets in life?
Well, do I remember anyone now? I don't think I have any. I thank God I was alive. I was successful in what I choose, the profession I choose, and everything. So I'm not the kind of person who is expecting the nation to give me millions of naira or the state to give me this and that. I feel comfortable myself. Maybe that's what is keeping me alive till today, you know. So everything I have, I achieved myself, you know. So I think I'm satisfied with myself. I don't have much regrets. I have a wife, 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls. They just married, so I'm a grandfather now. So what else? What else am I looking for? So I thank God for life.
Of course, you already told me you have so much to be grateful for. But in your very, very eventful life, what time can you look back and say, this was the height for me?
Well, as a player, when we won the academic house, 2, when we won cup winners, Rangers, 3, when we won the Nations Cup. I think that was the highest for the first time. So anytime you want to talk about Nations Cup in Nigeria, you must look for people who won it first. and you find our names there. So that one is there forever.
My last question. Successful footballer, great coach. Do you regret not playing in the World Cup?
Well, it's part of my regret.
You didn't remember that?
Yeah, it's part of my regret, but because we nearly went to the World Cup until we lost to Tunisia here. When Odie headed the ball mistakenly inside our net, we lost 1-0. You know, because apart from that, we have been to the World Cup. It's part of my regret. Thank you for reminding me.
Chairman Chukwu, I must thank you so much for your time. I know the back and forth for us to have this interview take place. I'm really grateful, sir.
You're always welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And as you age gracefully as you are aging, I say congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. You know my place now. You're always free.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And that's the signature show. I am Vin Martin Obiora Ilo. Thanks for watching.
Good evening, and welcome to Uncommon Conversations on Signature Television. Of course, we are reaching you from our studios in ENUGU, the coast city state. Before, during, and after 2023 electioneering campaigns, Dr. Barrister Pitamba, then candidate and now governor of Enugu State, made a robust statement. He boldly stated that he would take Enugu economy from $4 billion to $30 billion. That was a tall order. Many doubted him. Many are still doubting him. They believe it's not possible, but events in the past 1 year and 2 months may prove the naysayers wrong, or may prove the believers right. Apart from expected huge financial inflow from foreign capitals and investments, Enugu State is expected to make a quantum leap in revenue generation. And that's why the position of the executive chairman of the Internal Revenue Board is important. Before now, somebody was appointed, and for reasons unclear to this presenter, he was replaced with our guest this afternoon. Our guest is Emmanuel Ekene Okenwa. Namani. Namani, good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to Signature Television.
Thank you.
And importantly, to Uncommon Conversations.
Yes,
this evening,
uncommon.
Yes, this evening we're going to have quite an uncommon conversations around the job you do, around who Ekene Naman is, and the functions of your office, the challenges you are facing, and the hurdles you've crossed, and the accomplishments you've made. So I'm going to start by asking you first, maybe just tell me why you think you are qualified for this job. Your background, which is important.
Really?
Yes, it's very, very important.
This one
If you're a journalist,
it's a real interview.
If you're a journalist and I'm dumped into the revenue board, maybe I'll be lost.
All right.
That's your background.
Anyway, I'm a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. So what it means that I'm an accounting professional and also a tax professional. I'm also a member of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. So I've had over 2 decades experience in internal control and also banking experience. So I came from one of the big 4 banks in Nigeria. So I don't know if I must sell myself more than this.
No, I think you're right. But I asked the question because I wanted our viewers to have an idea of the man that Emmanuel Ekene Naman is. You're coming from a rich accounting and taxation background.
Yes.
That means, for all intents and purposes, you're eminently qualified for the job you are doing. Because part of the challenges we have in Nigeria is recruitment process.
Yes.
Sometimes you put square pegs in round holes, and round holes in square pegs. And so you come really qualified. Now, one question that might be very uncommon is, by the time you took over as executive chairman, do you have an idea of what was the monthly revenue for the state at then? And between then and now, what has happened?
All right. You know, the 2 scenarios may not be the same, and the environment may not be the same.
It's still ENUGU state. Our territory has not changed.
It may be ENUGU state, no doubt. But a ton of events has actually shown that the environments are no longer the same. The orientation of the people are no longer the same. The exposure of the people to tax matters are no longer the same. And again, the willingness of government to sustain revenue for the state may not be the same. So it may not be too good begin to compare what has happened, but for the purpose of this conversation.
Yes, for those who are actually watching you.
Yes, before we came in, the state has actually been doing well. So we made an average revenue of 2.4 billion naira a month. And you know, when we say 2.3 billion a month, the state, it was actually a tall order for the state to say we can pay our salaries from our revenue, bearing in mind that some of this revenue generation actually go back to the people that generate it, like self-sustaining institutions. So, but when we came on board, we had new targets. We had some order that we can, directive that we cannot say no. Okay. So some of these directives are that you see this payment, if you see this payment, if we don't generate it, nobody pays it. So in order to sustain the state in terms of those routine OPEX. So we have to begin to map out what are the areas we have potentials that we have not been able to tap from. What are those areas that requires widening the net, even when we know that we are restricted in terms of the provisions of the tax law, because most of the tax laws are actually law of the federation, which we cannot come back to state and say we want to amend or increase. So we said, okay, how do we let our people know that are supposed to pay this tax? So we started with campaign. We started by letting them know that everybody has to contribute towards the building of our state. So we started ensuring that the payees come as when due, ensuring that our people are meant to know that they are supposed to file, make remittances and file. So we also touched our land use law, our land use computations, ensuring that it's not just about what the law says, but the ability of our people to pay, considering the level of our economic level. So we reduce the land use charge computations to ensure that it's affordable to our people and that we can easily collect. We also activated some of our dormant tax laws, such as the purchase tax, such as the capital gain tax. Again, we dare to enter where everybody has advised, do not go there, you won't make anything, the informal sector.
Okay.
So we delved into informal sector taxes, which people may not know that is actually the mainstay of our economy, because an average Igbo man is a trader. And these traders over the years had not paid their tax into the government coffer. So yes, we engage them, series of meetings, series of I don't agree, you must agree, we must not agree. So after several engagements, and we agreed to work with the informal sector. The informal sector is such a whole activity whereby every single aspect of the informal sector is represented by a union. And this union have level 1, level 2, level 3 union. And when you begin to engage them on level 1, level 2, level 3, you begin to see the hurdles involved in engaging them. So, but we were able to agree, and we entered the informal sector, introducing a very simple technology we call the e-tickets. And that's just the change we've seen.
And so this quantum leap. So what has this yielded in terms of revenue monthly now?
Yes, you know,
Just being conservative.
revenue generation has actually been up and down. It's not something that is
Average.
on average. We can, as at last month, we can tell you that we are making an average of 5 billion.
So that's a quantum leap,
Yes.
from 2.3, 2.4 to 5 billion.
Yeah,
It's actually a quantum
an
leap.
average of 5 billion as at last month, and
Yes, but my brother, Kene,
yes,
a lot of people may not share these your sentiments about the consultations. You know, I'm a media guy, and the way you just said them, it looks so effortless. Like, you know, you had the consultations and people agreed. That's not the feeling out there.
yes,
That's not the feeling out there.
of course.
But we'll get to that as we proceed.
You know,
because when you say you engage in campaigns,
You know, I told you that in the informal sector, you have levels of union.
yes,
There is no person that will, even you as a media consultant, will not come to tell me that if I want to engage the people at Ogbete, that I'll tell everybody at Ogbete to close their shop and come to the social hall.
Yes.
The question is, where is the hall? Where is that hall that will contain everybody in Ogbete? Unless you don't want to discuss, Ogbete has a leader. And this leader is represented by line, by line, by line. And when you engage them, you have actually engaged Ogbete. If I engage the asthmatas, the trader union of the entire Enugu state, asthmatas in the entire Enugu state, I've engaged the entire market in Enugu state. So you don't expect me to begin to go to shop one by one.
No, I know. Let me tell you what it's like. It's like if you say now that Nigeria is, in the next 2 days, we don't know what's going to happen. The protests, well, it could be successful in some area, will not. It's assumed that our representatives, they have spoken for us. Whether they are members of the House of Reps or House of Assembly, because we elected them to represent us. But people are saying, no. They may have agreed that this is what it should be. So it's possible you've engaged the leaders. And leaders may not have delivered this concept well to the people.
They did.
Well, as we will see in this conversation, you see that it may not be Uhuru.
No, they did. Only that, when it comes to payment, when it comes to bringing out money,
that's where the issue
for an
is.
average Igbo man, no matter the level of engagement, no matter the level of agreement, and it ends up in you bringing out the money, it's like coughing out blood in the body system of an Igbo man.
Okay. Okay, let me now ask you, what's the relationship, if any, between these revenue collections and economic development?
Beautiful. You see, I've said this time and over again that any organization, not just government, that cannot assure the revenue sustainability, that organization has no going concern.
Okay.
In part of this world, what has actually made us to look as if to say we are not developing it because we have not assured our revenue sustainability. All over the world, tax is the engine that fuels development. No part of the world can claim to have developed by waiting for donor agencies or by loan. So you have to first of all sustain your revenue. The truth of the matter is that Enugu as a city has a massive potential for revenue. You may doubt it. Another person may also come to say it's not true. But as the time goes on, we begin to unfold it and let people know that Enugu has massive potential beyond their understanding. Because we've seen our economy as, some people have challenged people who say Enugu State is a civil service state. I say no. Enugu is never a civil service state. Enugu is a business environment.
Okay. One of the things they say out there is that, I don't know how true it is, but thank God you are here, that you are running a unitary or unified revenue collection in the state, that you've taken the revenue collection potentials of local governments. I don't know how true that is. They say they've been asked not to collect certain revenue.
That's true.
So tell me.
Yes.
Why is that so?
Why we are is that the government has declared to support businesses. And in accordance with the tax policy of the Federation of 2017, the tax policy is geared towards unifying tax collection. So the governor is a businessman. He has suffered the challenges of multiple tax collection from different levels of government.
You're still like use of that, but we'll come to that shortly.
Own business. So he prefers that we unify tax collection and revenue collection, and to ensure that the business does not receive too many footfalls of revenue collectors coming into the business. Because some will come like an evangelist, they end up collecting money. Some will come like Agboro, and they still collect money. Some will come in different form. How do we unify this collection? So what we did was introduce the e-ticket. That e-ticket unified state collection and a local government collection. So, but those who tell you that we've unified it, and they may be telling you are the negative.
Yeah, you're running the unitary revenue collection.
And they may be telling you maybe to tell you that, but I don't think the players, local government players, key players maybe, or stakeholders will be able to tell you this. But I will explain it here for us to know what we are doing. When we come to the market, the local government used to go to the market to collect some revenue.
Abattoir, a lot of things.
So when we do go there to collect. So state also go there to collect summer, business premise, tax. And we said, no, unify them. Local government, what are you collecting? Let's bring it together. Summer, what is it? Bring it together. Business premise, bring it together. Tax, can we go into presumptive tax? Yes, bring it together. So you brought all this in together, and we dispense them as one revenue.
So how do you share the revenue?
And everybody knows their own.
I'm not asking how. Knowing is one thing, sharing is another.
No, we don't share to anybody.
Okay, so what do you do with it?
The technology we use, technology is an enabler. Every night, whatever is collected, there is what we call a split. The local government gets their own. That night is not tomorrow. Every other agency that is self-sustaining, that is in that bucket, gets that night. I'm not talking about tomorrow, that night.
Danger of a single story.
I don't go into doing reconciliation. So no local government that is involved in this tells you that I have not seen our money. If I want local government say, I want to know how much you have collected for, I say, look at what you have collected for you. Check your bank statement. Look at the date of payment one by one. Go into it and let me know. I don't go into reconciliation. This technology pays as it is. So that is why I say sometimes people who are telling you this may be telling you to woo sentiments. I get it. But this is actually what we do.
I'm not sure, for fear of reprisal, that either former or those who are holding brief for local government would want to courageously appear on this program to speak to the points you've raised. Because I was playing the local government. And so I easily talk with them about what are their challenges.
Of course.
And one of those would be they're not seeing their revenue. But that's a story for another day. Now, but let me also add, okay. When you unify revenue collection and via technology you dispense, you've taken a vital aspect, quote and unquote, of the autonomy of the local government. Because that is the issue in Nigeria as of today. I recall once I granted interviews to a medium and they asked me, I said I was chairman for 4 years. I was able to buy tractors, I was able to buy dozers, I was able to buy rollers, I was able to buy ambulances. The first state local government partnership on road construction, running from Akpasha to Lokwanta, was started by my local government and the ENUGU state government.
Okay.
It was the first time, and because we had complete unvetted access to our funds, and we collected whatever, nobody needed to tell us what to do. If at my age I was a local government chairman and they assume my level of intellect is limited, that I needed to be told what to do. Then, but that's a story for another, like I said.
Let me
now, so this issue,
let me correct an impression.
It's better you correct it because it's common in the open space.
No. It is the people making this allegation are also your colleagues.
No, don't look at my colleagues.
Who left local government and also hold on to the local government revenue.
That's an accusation.
I have to
accusation.
I have to say it here openly.
That's an accusation.
Because I know the nitty-gritty of it.
Okay.
So
that's why you are here.
They felt what they are holding on to has been taken away from them. So you are closer to them. They will continue to make this kind of allegation. But none of the local government is complaining because they are better off. Again, in the state, the government of Barrister Peter Simba don't care and don't touch local government allocation. It goes to them directly. You can go and engage in of the local government. Now we don't have chairman, we have HPMs as holding brief for chairman. Go and ask them. I get it. But I'm not saying you should go and demand for your own Gunjeo.
No.
Again,
You send the money.
the issue of
The
issue of people saying,
the truth is, like I said, the truth is
let me
that
also say that the issue of people saying unification.
yes,
Unification has been part and parcel of our culture. The money you see the state go to federation account to share. What do you think happens there? Is unification of revenue collection, because the Federal Inland Revenue Service was asked to collect company income tax on behalf of everybody.
but the sharing is transparent.
And
No, it's published. You see
listen.
it. What the state gets in a month, I will know.
Listen,
What goes to the local government, I will know.
What do you mean by transparent?
At least it's published.
What is published? Okay, our own is that you don't even need anybody to publish for you. You have it coming every day. You have it coming every day. If you want statements, you print it from your own end. You have access to the portal. Nobody is restricted for seeing it. This one is even, they bring out a formula. This one, there's no formula. The formula is that what you are supposed to collect is 5,500. That 5,500 comes to you.
Does it go to the joint local government account?
For what?
Or does it go to the...
It goes to the local government account directly.
Then something is wrong.
Nothing is wrong. I've told you where all this is.
You're in the air-conditioned office. You're not on the street. You're not on the street, so you may not really know what information people peddle about.
I tell you where the information is coming from, and I know where it's coming from, because I'm the one involved here, and I know the level of engagement, level of distraction, and level of challenges you get from those people who left the local government and held on to the local government revenue. I get you.
Okay.
So, but it's not a problem.
Okay.
Our books are open for anybody.
Yeah, I've got the Freedom of Information
Yes,
Act.
anybody can come.
So
and,
I could invoke it.
Of course.
I could invoke it to have.
You don't even need to come to me for you to get.
Well, I'm happy you're saying this,
Yes.
and that is why we have this platform to have these conversations.
Look, Oga,
Because
I need to do my work
Yes.
and go home and sleep.
Okay. I'm happy hearing this.
I don't need to do my work, and every day people are calling me to come and answer questions. I don't do that. So everybody should have access to their revenue. Yeah. But what we don't want is too many footfalls into businesses.
Well, let's move on. Do you still use tax collectors?
No, we don't use tax collectors. No, we don't.
Recall I gave you a call 2 days ago.
Yes, we don't use task. I will tell you what we are doing.
Yes.
What we are doing.
Let me explain that scenario so that you can take it holistically. Certainly, 3 young men in one unmarked bus were driving around Transekulu, claiming they are agents of internal revenue, and so they were on a POS operator asking her to pay 18,000 naira.
Okay.
And I saw them, so I moved around. They saw press. The man came to talk to me. I said, the government I know, the government of Peter Mba I know, with the chairman, Namani, can ask you to collect cash from anybody.
Beautiful.
He said, no, that if you pay somewhere, the moment I told you, I asked them to come tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay. And I looked at them. They peddling your name and the name of your board. Okay? It's dangerous. Because for the unsuspecting public, they will believe it is true. They left. Okay. I was told today that they came asking, the person said, but you said there should be that we spoke to the chairman, he said there should be a government account.
Yes.
That 18,000 is huge amount not to pay to anybody by cash. That you've asked me that if I say anybody like that, you should be arrested.
Of course.
So who are these people?
These are non-state actors.
So how are you dealing with them?
Oh, we are dealing with them on daily basis. We are arresting them on daily basis. We are dealing with them. You know,
you must have an emergency number.
There is. We have. There is this issue whereby people who felt, when we came on board, these non-state actors, we are the one collecting revenue.
Okay.
When we are collecting into their personal pockets. So we came and, okay, in order not to create a state of kiosk, if you push all of them away, and they will go back into the streets and begin to cause problem. Can we train them and reintegrate them into our revenue collection and make them an agent? So that agent, we converted them into. The agent is not removed from us. It is assumed to be our own staff. So, but we give them the tag, we give them ID card, we give them vest, and we train them, and we made them to have a smartphone. Then they started collecting money. So when they started collecting, they will collect cash, they will vend. So some people, because Igbo people are smart, they saw that when they collect this cash, even if they don't vend, the person there may not know they've not vended. So we stopped cash collection.
Okay, very good.
So when we stopped cash collection, we produce an account called ESNG e-ticket account / the agent number. So you pay into that account, at least the person who paid you has an element of evidence. Then you now go and vend, the person will get a lot. We don't have receipt anywhere in the formal sector. No receipt anywhere. I've been getting this, hey, why don't you have receipt? There's evolution in everything. So we don't have receipt anywhere. If you pay, you get a lot.
That's good.
So if you want to verify, you dial *8011 *042 hash. You confirm if it has been paid or not. This is an innovation. So
part of disruptive innovations
that's
that
what
the
we
governor
do.
talked about.
So we don't have any vehicle in internal revenue that is not branded.
That's another revelation.
Yes, every of our vehicle are branded. You will see it boldly written with our logo.
So when you see one that is not branded,
if you see one that is not branded, who are there? Get them, just hold them on. Call any of the police number or our distress number. We'll get these people.
okay. Again, I want you to hold your thought. We'll just go on a short break. When we come back, I like this conversation of these branded and unbranded vehicles, because there are a lot of unbranded vehicles in town. Say they are agents. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly. Okay, welcome back. You're still watching Uncommon Conversations, and we're still on Signature Television. And my guest is still Emmanuel Ekenenamane, Executive Chairman of our Internal Revenue Board. Let me ask you, political interference. In the past, it used to be one of the challenges that any chairman would have faced. Did you get phone calls from politicians asking you, Chairman, Ivonia, do this, do that? How much of political interference do you have?
I don't have any.
None.
I don't have any.
Oh, that's good to know. Let's talk about your recruitment pattern. Are there favoritism in the recruitment, or was this an equal opportunity employer? How did you recruit your staff? Who you now trained to be compliant?
Now, when we started recruiting these e-ticket agents, people doubted that we are not going to, it will not work. It had been tried before, it never worked. So why gain going there to say you're recruiting? We advertise, we will beg people. We started even going, when we are going, we started behaving like mad people. If you're on the road, just going across, we say, oh, can't you do this work? We'll be begging people, can't you do this work? Come now, we'll teach you how to do this work. Someone will say, to go carry phone and be going around.
Can you didn't talk to me?
So,
If you did that, I did one of
that.
the agents.
So when we found some people who started, those people started making money, because for every of this money they collect, we pay them a certain percentage.
Okay.
So some started making money. Then we started having rush. You might give me. You might give me. I said, okay, I don't have issue. The person who is the head of e-ticket, where do we have space? He said, Ima, we have space everywhere. Obeit is not yet complete. New market is not complete. Artisan market is not complete. Can we get more? And we begin to, we say, going back to advert again, people may think that they've rejected this government. I get it.
Yeah.
Let's use word of mouth marketing. Let's begin to look.
One of the most effective.
Yes. Let's begin to talk to people. Let's begin to encourage them to come. Let's go to those areas where you see people sit down and drink. Let's go to Guago. Let's go to Obiago. Let's go to Geneva. Let's go there and begin to see people drinking. Let's begin to talk to them and say, you can do this. So we started talking to them. We started getting the numbers. So when we got them, we started training them using Next Zone, which is also one of the big consulting firms in the country. We started training them. So when we are training them, now started talking about enforcers who will ensure that these people comply to this payment. Well, now we got people who call the enforcers. So the enforcers, please wait. Road safety, come and train them. Come and tell them what they need to do. Assuming they are enforcing the e-ticket on the transport sector, how would they observe the traffic and say do the enforcement? The road safety came, trained them 1, 2, 3. I get it. We now call people who believe they are also experts in this field and say, come and train them. So this is what we are doing. After some time, we begin to rejig it. In that e-ticket ecosystem, we have over 1,500 people working within that ecosystem.
That level of employment?
Yes. So when people begin to ask, why is ENUGU peaceful? ENUGU is peaceful because those people who would have caused mayhem on the society are busy making money.
A lot of people do not know this. And that's why you guys shouldn't keep quiet. A lot of people do not know what you're just saying now.
That's what we're doing. Then the governor is a workaholic governor. He came and bulldozed all the streets. Who are those working on those construction sites? People of ENUGU. Who are those working on the bridge construction, culverts? People of ENUGU. Who are those installing the CCTV cameras? People of ENUGU. You may not be so skilled in the technology they're using, but at least you can climb you can help dig
use the ladder,
fix it, carry the pole and put.
Yes.
You can even mix concrete. Is it not?
Yes.
So people are busy everywhere. Who are those constructing the international conference center? The people of ENUGU. The people doing the ties, the people doing the painting.
And then you find the petty restaurateurs.
No.
Around there supplying food and water and all that.
Somebody who used to cook at Obeit and couldn't finish his will come to international conference center and begin to sell there. And people are busy. That is actually how to rejig economy. You don't rejig economy by praying. You don't rejig economy by shouting. You don't rejig economy by speaking grammar. You rejig economy by engaging in activities that get people busy.
I'm going to ask you, because our time is ticking, I'm going to ask you a simple question. It may not be that simple, but of course, in the performance of these duties, and knowing that you took our revenue from 2.3, 2.4 to 5 billion now monthly, like I said before, it's a quantum leap. You must have faced some challenges. it is not all smooth as you are saying.
Yeah, it's not at all.
So, can you just share a bit of it? And how did you deal with those challenges?
Oh my God.
As briefly as
Those
you can.
challenges, you can't even finish it. You can't
Yeah, I know
you
they must
can't,
be there.
you can't, no matter
Yes.
how you try, you can't. Let me just say the challenges you have is not actually the challenges of the outsiders. You also have massive challenges of internal people,
Internal sabotage.
even within your office, who are telling you, Oga, this is not how we used to do it before.
Don't know there's a change.
Nobody believes in those changes. They will just say, this is not how we used it to do it before.
I've been here for 20 years.
Why are you changing it? Are you getting me?
Yes.
So when you stop contract, a word of contract for revenue, somebody comes to pay 2 million naira, goes into the field to collect 200 million. Say, no, please don't enter there again. No, somebody will come and tell you, who are you to say that? I signed this contract. You can't do that. I said, no. We have gone past this stage of awarding contract for revenue collection. The person can be our agent. He collects, and we pay percentage on what he has collected. I get it. But not give him a contract, he pays 2 million, goes to the field, collect 200 million. We cannot do that. So these are some of the challenges.
So how do you survive the cabal or the cartel?
No, I did not. It's not that I survived it. Everything is about the political will of the governor.
Okay, I now get that.
Anywhere you see all these kind of challenges, people coming to bring in their way, it's just about the political will of the governor. But you know that the governor of the state is so determined to assure revenue sustainability for Enugu State, and that is our saving grace. People may tell you that we are very stubborn, we don't hear. No, it has nothing to do with stubbornness. But the willingness of the government to make money, sustainable revenue for the state, that is everything that has helped us. But those challenges are not ending, I hope you know.
They are not.
Because even some of the community leaders still hold swears in the village. We are collecting 200 in the villages, village market on market days. When you go there, some will begin to call everybody they know in the state. Why should they come and collect this money from the poor women? I said, okay, let's go. Let's go to that market. You go to that market, you see that the village leaders are busy collecting money. That in the same market they say that the women are very poor.
Okay, you just brought a sore point. I was going to, and that part of one of the biggest issues that somebody raised with me when he saw your flyer.
Yes.
He talked about what he called, quote and unquote, unfriendly taxation in Enugu State. He said, you now go to the villages and collect money from them. And he gave an example, a woman selling pineapple in my village. He said, the road to that place, I don't know whether you looked at the road you took when you're going to the place. You looked at whether they have electricity in the place you're going to collect the money. And so they are struggling to make a living, and you are now asking them to pay 200 when services that's ordinary that you should make it a lot easier for them. You said, for example, in developed climes, that taxation was a normal thing. Yes, because every social services they needed to get already in place. You hardly find them still struggling with untied road and all that.
No, I don't want people to go into that sentiment. The question is, if you continue to allow it to remain the way they are, and fail
so
to
what
collect,
services do they get
to collect money?
What services do they get for the money you're collecting?
If you fail to collect money,
yes,
and you leave them the way they are, how will the place be developed? You need to.
Have you made them a promise what you're going to use the money to do?
See, it's not about making promise. The blind are seeing what is happening in those villages. That village where you see that you say the road is unmeasurable.
One of the group in Naku.
Listen,
What happened in Naku?
There is a smart school going on in that village. Where is the money coming from? There is a tier 2 hospital going on in that village. Where is the money coming from?
Not all villages, sir.
Tell me one village that where it's not going on. Oh. Then this if it's not going on in that village, it's coming. Then there is also plan to connect.
Let me give you an example.
There's also plan to connect all the villages.
Let me give you an example.
In terms of road.
Let me give you an example. I come from Ogu. And there's a ward called ENUGU ward. Then went to Ogunta. It's almost 15 kilometers to Gueme.
Okay.
It's one ward.
Good.
Now you have Ezere. they may be about 10 kilometers away from these other communities.
Good.
One is closer to Uji River, one is closer to Lokpanta.
Good.
If you build a smart school in Ugueme, the man in Nenwenta and Ogunta will never see it because it's almost 20 kilometers away from them.
That is something I will tell you. It has a solution.
Tell me.
The solution is that if, assuming we build at Nenwenta, and the Nkwe people cannot come to Nenwenta, then somebody should present a case, make it to the Ensubeb. They will go there, see the terrain, and they again present a proposal to the governor to approve another smart.
Do you know this matter has been present? I hope Anyama will be listening to us. When you appeared on my program, not this one, with Nwobodo,
Yes.
Obu Nwobodo,
Yes.
this matter came to the fore. And they said, in fact, there's a point they want to take to the governor. Because sometimes very good policies may not take into considerations local contiguity. So you find that place, you come to my own ward, Amole, Ubo, Owele, Ogugu ward, very big communities. So now we're having the smart school in Owele. My town is almost 7 kilometers to Owele. And Ogugu is almost more than 6 kilometers to Owele, the way it is cited.
No, you can always make a case. My people made a case.
I like this what you're saying.
My people made a
okay,
case.
so you had a similar thing in your place.
Yes, now. In Amechido and Oluku, they are the same word.
Okay.
But Oluku had a challenge of survival over years. And again, they are also a bit far from Amechido. A smart school was approved for Amechido. This city, this town that had have challenges of survival over 2 decades, do you still allow them to continue to find it difficult coming to Amichilo for the smart school? Governor said no. Governor approved another smart school for Uruku.
Do you know what you've done now? You have assuaged a lot of people's feelings. I'm telling you this, there are many wards. I'll give you an example. Mako, Budi ward in my place. If you know the distance between maybe where the smart school and where the other one
Apart
is.
from distance,
People didn't know.
the smart school also has a policy that after a certain number of student intake, that smart school has to be separated and that smart school has to be built. There's a policy.
The handlers
around
of
all
government or governors information management should take this down to the people. I'm telling you, I'm being very honest. It's causing some great disaffection, and these are unspoken disaffection that people may never know. But I thank God that you are here today, and you disabused them, and you just told me the example in your own area.
Yeah.
So it's doable.
It's doable.
Okay. Let me ask you. 5 billion monthly. Is that where you want to be?
No, not at all.
So where do you want to be?
Where we want to be is 21 billion.
So what is holding you?
What is holding me
What is holding you?
is ramping up some of our strategies currently. Like in our transport sector, informal sector tax collection. We are just moving a step. The way we are moving, we have a lot of fight back in the villages. Like some of the villages are not allowing collection in Keke, collection in Okada. I get me.
Yes.
So it requires going for enforcement. Where all this enforcement, our people need to buy into it. It's not all just enforcement because we've had more than 1,500 within the ecosystem. So asking us to employ more, it may be going beyond our capacity. And again, we have also advertised for jobs, which we have started the recruitment because we need to inject new blood into the Internal Revenue Service. We'll get there. We will surely get there. Then the issue of capital gain tax, where people don't come to land to register their land for us to collect the land discharge. We need to go and meet them where they are building the house.
Yeah, because they said when you spoke earlier, you talked about affordable
affordability. Yes,
they're saying no, that is out of the way. That is
no.
they said to get CFO, get permission to do all those. That is just
I don't think it's too exorbitant. It's a matter of
well, if you know,
matter of buying into what
if you know what's happening,
but
if
you
know the current economy
I
of
know,
the country.
but I also want to let you know that land is expensive in Enugu. I can't see why someone should buy a land of about 100 million for the rich ones within the city, the metropolis, and we are asked to register it probably at 10,000 naira per square meter, and you say it's too expensive. Somebody goes to Abopa to buy a plot of land at 30 million naira, and they ask the person to register it at probably 2,000 naira per square meter. You say it's too expensive because you are paying to the government. This is just the sentiment you have.
I don't know where.
But never mind.
Let me tell you. I don't know where it went. What happened? You know, I used to be MD of Housing Corporation.
Yeah, serious.
99.
Okay.
2001. That's when the Gulf Estate was started. It was Tuba Junction and the rest. Go back and check the allocation to those plots. I already did a personal memo to the governor. Say governor does not sell land. Governor allocates land.
Yes.
No, find somebody who has an allocation paper in Gulf and find the amount that was paid for it. I don't know why they have commercialized it, but that's a story for another day. Our time is running. I'm going to ask you perhaps my final question, because you really enlightened me on a few things that have bothered me, and I do hope that our viewers will also agree with you. Okay, I want you to give an advice to tax-paying adults in Enugu State and organizations doing business in Enugu State, what they should know. Let people not run with the idea that somebody said, I pay costs for my land in Enugu, and the Kenyan is coming to collect another one in my village. So please talk to them. No,
people should also know that tax collection, even in the villages, has been thing that we are used to in the past. That there was a breach between probably 1999 and downward. Doesn't mean that it has not been there before. Yeah. My dad used to tell me that even at Ude Jamamechi, that the tax people used to come in there. Even when there was no breach, they come with bicycle to come and collect tax in the villages. So if they were able to collect tax in the villages in those days, why can't we collect now? And remember that what the government is trying to do is that no place should be regarded as a rural area. We want to connect every part of the city with good roads. Remember, the governor has a target of 10,000 kilometers of roads. So when every village is connected, no places will be regarded as a rural area. What we need to do is live our life. I get me. You may have this is your own where you come from, but everywhere looks like a mini city. So we want to disabuse our mind by saying this is village. No. If somebody in the village you don't pay tax, when will you know that you are now no longer a village that you are supposed to pay tax? When? So we need to have this at the back of our mind. And again, I want to tell them that we want to appreciate them. Seriously, we want to appreciate them. The buy-in into our tax policy has been quite impressive. We want to appreciate them. We can't appreciate them enough. There may be a lot of people not accepting the tax policy, one or two, but I can assure you that the buy-in is massive. That also, I also want to give kudos to the governor of the state, who have been able to utilize this money for the blind to see what he's doing. So the road, the smart schools, smart green schools, the hospital, the bringing back the dead asset like International Conference Center, building another 5-star hotel within that International Conference Center, bringing up the hotel presidential. The Niger gas is also, there's work going on there. United Palm Products. So all these, in fact, I can't thank him enough.
Okay.
That is a massive support we need to do this.
Emmanuel Ekene Namane.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for finding time to explain to our people government policies on taxation.
Thank you, sir.
A few misconceptions, even held by me as elected as I think I am, had been cleared by you. I'm sure, even though this is your first time, it won't be your last.
Yeah, no.
It's just the starting of a relationship with Signature Television.
Of course.
So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And to our viewers, thank you for watching, and join us same time tomorrow for another interesting edition of Uncommon Conversations. Good evening.
I think one of the implications of drug abuse is deaths, poor health. In terms of this drug abuse, it's really affecting the youths. I had a program that we are talking on this issue, and somebody just mentioned in the next 10 to 20 years, fertility problem will be on the increase because of this drug abuse that our youths are embarking on. And it's somebody that is bringing them in. Somebody is doing, promoting the sales or encouraging them. Before you know it, another one will come, another one will come. It's somebody that is in top that is bringing it. Because I don't understand how people that are in communities, villages, they don't have access of importing all those things in. It's people that have money that is bringing them. If government really want to tackle it, they should start from the up so that it can come down.
One of the major risks of having fake drugs in our community is health challenges, health risk. For anybody that takes fake drugs, obviously, what you are meant to treat, you are just worsening it, or it will always get worse than you imagined. And I would say part of the reason, almost why people embark on selling fake drugs or even acquiring it, is, well, I say, is lack of knowledge and then poverty. We're always used to, or we tend to tilt towards the cheaper article, want to get it where it's cheap, and sometimes we do not really, get to like sit back and have a rethink. Why is this so cheap here? Why is this so cheap there? For our people, because that money is not there and we're wanting it to be very cheap.
Many effects of fake drugs, but I think we can look at the health implications. The health crisis it's causing around the nation, and some of the reasons people embark on selling fake drugs, maybe to make quick money. You understand? They're trying to make quick money, and maybe because of maybe cost of getting the real drugs. They try to like get the fake drugs. But it's going to cause a disaster overall on the health of of people. Especially on women and girls, because they are usually most vulnerable to this kind of catastrophe. So, and I think one of the ways that we can fight this issue is mainly to educate people, because most of these people, they don't even know the effect of of these things they're doing. They don't know that this is going to hurt us generally, because when you get those fake drugs out there, people don't know which one is real, people don't know what is original, and everybody's just going out there buying all these things. But it's just going to generally cause a problem for us.
Why people embark on selling fake drugs, I will attribute it to selfishness. And then when somebody seems to have sold his or her conscience, the person can do a whole lot of things. Sale of fake drugs. Most of the drug dealers, they know that these drugs are fake, but they still embark on it because they want to maximize profit. That's why I say it is as a result of the person has lost conscience. Do you understand? They want to make money by all means. People are interested in making money because the society has also contributed to that. Society is not interested in how did you make your money. Society is interested in who has made it, and they want to identify with who has made it. And to that effect, people are doing every manner of bad things to make money. Because even apart from drugs, there are a lot of illicit businesses people do here and there. I know when Berakwi was there as a NAFDAC director, she tried all her possible means to see how she can stop that. But immediately she left, the other man came, and today is like, they are working actually, but it's like a lot of things are going on the background. One of my staff, the younger sister, had a very terrible experience as a result of fake drugs. She had malaria, so she got her drugs. Unknown to her that in fact, she discovered that the drug had expired on the last day she was taking it, because one thing is that our people are not very good at checking expiring dates. Even beverages and all of that, people are not very conscious of checking expiring dates. So she realized that the drug had expired on the very last day she was taking the malaria drugs, and because she was not getting the effects of the drug she was taking, and again she was having reactions and all of that. Just to cut the long story short, that lady was supposed to serve for her 1 year mandatory use service, but the fake drug she took resulted to, in fact, she was paralyzed. She also lost one of her eyes. A lot of complications. Today she cannot see because in the process of trying to correct the other eye, the other one got affected. Today she's blind and she couldn't even walk. It's not something anybody wants to actually have to encounter with, because it will kill actually, and then it has actually rendered some people impotent, and then it has actually made some people even increase their ailment, because when the person is actually paying so much for drugs, thinking that he or she is actually ingesting appropriate medication, he or she wouldn't know that they're actually taking something that is not actually adding value to their health, and then it's sort of by then some people could die, which we have had, and some people could actually develop some more further complications.